Yo, it's freaking cold. I get it. 24 degrees today, but we got to get something done. You know, even if it's 30 minutes of working on a bike that you got, making a list of parts that you need, bundle up, get a fire pit going outside so you can run out there and warm your hands up. It's annoying. Surprised I'm even still in a location where there is winter, but I'm challenging you to do something with your motorcycle. And today, look at this cute little thing. Just got it. We're gonna try to get this thing to run. I do not like this stupid tire holder. It's the worst one ever. Do not buy a knockoff. Do not buy a knockoff wheel chock that says it's like Handy brand. It's not. It's nothing like Handy brand. 1980, I believe, CB125S. Just picked it up for free, believe it or not. It's missing some stuff for sure. The tank is nasty on the inside, but it turns over 3,200 miles on it. We're missing some vital stuff, but we're gonna see if we can't get this thing to run. Okay, I got spare parts from all different types of stuff from the 70s. We can make something work for the kill switch. I got a 6-volt battery. I've been using it on my XL185S. It was hammer dead, like 0 volts on this thing. Now this is not something that I would necessarily tell someone to do, but I tried charging this thing with a 12-volt charger and it brought it back up to 4. And then I switched the charger over to a 6-volt charge and now it's at 6.4. So it's probably a bad battery, but I think it should be enough to give us some sort of life. We'll try it. I would never recommend charging your 6-volt battery with a 12-volt charge, but you know, we're in the garage today. So what's up, y'all? Cody from TheMotorcycleMD. That's what we're going to do on this bike. We're going to try to just see if we can't get some life out of it. The carburetor is probably junk. I have a battery that might work. Kill switch is boogered up. We're going to check the compression. We're going to do a few things and see if we can't get this thing to fire up and run for us. It's one of the most exciting things about picking up a random bike and seeing if it'll run for the first time in God knows how long. And I wasn't kidding about challenging to go out into the garage and work on your bike. I know it's winter, y'all. It sucks. No one wants to be out in the garage, especially if you don't have any heat. I got a little kerosene heater that I run, and kerosene's expensive, you know, but this thing gets me warm enough I can at least stand over top of it, warm my hands up, and get back to what I'm doing. I challenge you to do that. Okay? If you are in need of some encouragement during this cold season to work on your bike, or even some help for some problem that you may be facing or something that you may want to do, check out the Inner Circle membership. We have a private Facebook group where a lot of guys on there are working on their bikes. Small, large, big task, small task. I'm able to jump in there and help them out when they need, and it's just a cool community of people working on their motorcycles. So challenge you to check that out in the description. Hop on the mailing list, grab a free course while you're at it, 30 plus videos on how to work on your motorcycle just for joining the mailing list, and get plugged in. If I can help you, I will. So I hope to see you in there. Regardless, what should we do first? Let's check compression. I bought this Snap-on kit compression tester off eBay for $125. You'd be surprised, man. There are technicians retiring all the time or going through their dad's stuff who might have passed or whatever, man. You can get some really good stuff. I mean, this thing's like brand new. 125 bucks. If I were to go to Snap-on and want this now, I bet it's easily $400, $500. This bike was pulled out of a lean-to. It's not that bad. I mean, for a beater with a title, it's not that bad, right? The tank, I'm worried. I don't know if there's pinholes in this thing. It's nasty on the inside though. I know that. So it might be a killer, but who cares, man? These motors are just fantastic. These are like the best motors that Honda made, in my opinion. You can't kill them, and they're pretty much still using them today. One day I'm gonna hire me a cameraman where I don't have to make all these changes to the zoom. A few things I'm looking for right off the bat is the state of the spark plug wire. How loose is our cap? We can pull our sleeve down. We can actually unscrew these off of the line. Just curious. It felt pretty tight to begin with, but I can look inside of this hole right here where the spark plug wire is, and I see no wire that is touching. But inside of these old caps, this one has electrical tape on it. Wonder why that is. That's got to be the hardest electrical tape ever. I wonder if it's cracked. I don't know. It might be cracked. We don't know. But what I'm going to do, just right offhand, I mean, inside of here, there's like a threaded screw. And it's about that long. Okay? That much is going into our wire. Most of the time, there's some excess here that we can grab onto, right? I'm just doing small things that make big differences. We'll snip off just a little bit. I can see some exposed wire now. We're just going to thread this right back on there again. Just kind of eliminating common issues on our way into this thing. Keep going until you feel some resistance with it. It should get tight. Sometimes they don't. And it's because you're pulling out that insulation on the inside because the spark plug wire is so old. That's pretty tight right there. We'll leave it how it is. Put our boot back on. We blew away stuff around the spark plugs. We don't drop anything into our cylinder. That's the wrong spark plug socket. Let me put some straps on this bike. All right, now we can manhandle this thing a little bit more. Factory carb, maybe not. ISO Performance, I've never heard of that. Nasty plug. D8EA, baby, classic. She nasty. Spark plug needs some milk. Bunch of carbon on top of the piston. Honestly, if this thing blows my finger off, I bet it's got good compression. Hey-ya! Oh yeah, let's check it out. EEP V500. This is a great compression test. It'll last you a lifetime. The hoses might not, but these are like brand new, man. So what I'll do is I'll take the spark plug. Quick reference, I'll just line up whichever one is the right thread. Obviously, it's going to be this one right here. Make sure we got our Schrader valve in there. Leak down testers, you use the same thing, right? So you can have this kit and put a leak down tester if you have a air compression and all that stuff, but you need the Schrader valve out of there. That's just something to keep in mind. But we want that in there so when we build compression up through it, it holds it. Okay? Let's get this threaded in. Should have a rubber gasket on here too. Hand snug it. There that is. Alright, so I'm assuming that there's nothing blocking this air filter. Haven't even looked inside of it yet. We are going to hold the throttle wide open. This very crusty throttle. Throttle wide open. We want as much air going into this thing as possible. We're going to keep kicking this thing until this needle stops. No oil in the cylinder. This thing's probably 50 degrees. Oh, we're cooking, baby. We are cooking. Yes, please. Now we're going to put our heads together and figure out kind of what's going on over here. So we got a battery strap. We got a main fuse. We got our red line that will hit the battery. Very crusty. And this looks like our ground because it's hooked up to a ground wire for a old little pigtail. And it's going to a chassis ground here. So now we're cooking. We got our ground line. It's like someone added an additional one for this. I don't know why, but got some pine needle. So these things are pretty susceptible to some corrosion, and they don't hit the fuse as well as they should. Negative, positive, and old hose for the battery, which we'll replace. So let's just see what happens. This is, again, not the right battery for this bike, but it's a 6-volt battery. We have bullet connectors for this stuff, and these are eyelet connectors, so no problem. We're going to find some jumper wires that are halfway decent, because these ones you get from the Amazon world are trash 50% of the time. Ohms reading, we got a number that ain't even traceable. Out of the box, brand new. Garbage. You're like, oh sweet, I'm getting 50 jumper leads for $3. There we go, that's a decent 1.5 or less. We'll use that one, about the same, even better, 0.2. We'll run the red and the white. Alright, so let's take this ground wire, clean it up, give it a good chance. I'm gonna snap this strap for sure. Oh, look at that. Look at that. I don't know what was cut from here. Maybe it's that ground line. We'll figure that out when something doesn't work. All right, so let's just go get that on there. Power wire to the battery. You have any power? Any horn? Oh. It's talking to us. Oh, we got a headlight, dude. Low beam, high beam, just draining that battery of what I got. A little bit of life. That's all I need. Now, if you saw in the little walk around, you might remember seeing that the kill switch button is gone. It's a very basic system. On, off, that's a wire, that's a wire. They need to touch to create a circuit. Okay, let's see what we got. If you're gonna have old bikes, it's good to have old stuff, okay? Even if the bike is junk that you pick up, take the control off. You never know what guts inside you'll need for something. This one's actually really, I like the color of it. It's in really good shape, so I don't really want to use that one. But I mean, that's pretty much it. Little circlip that holds our button on. 2 wires going to it. This one looks a lot more complicated and it's ugly. A little more complicated because we have a front switch right here for our headlight kill, low and high. Let's just grab these. Underneath here, however, there's going to be a little spring and a little ball that helps this thing get that click function. Very, very basic. So we just got to be mindful of that. Push this clip off of our button. We have a couple of shims. Again, not sure if this was original. The shims are nice, keeps it nice and tight. There's one shim, just a little washer. So our button should come off. It's trying to take the contact pad out with it. There's a little ball. There's our spring. We'll take those out now. And there's our contact pad for it right there. These can get corroded. And same with those two little brass bits that we see up on the handlebar switch. And if your kill switch is not functioning right, if you have a high resistance to the kill switch, you can take this off and clean it. I have videos of cleaning turn signals out and this kind of stuff. You can take a little sandpaper, a little Scotch-Brite pad, buff that up, buff those up there, which we'll do. Behind here is also another spring. Very small stuff. Sweet. There's our button. Now this part I'd say is a little bit more annoying. You'll probably lay this over, you know, this Phillips head screws underneath it from this cap that opens it up. Yeah, we just roll this down, pull our cable out. There we go. There's our throttle tube. So if we can, I mean, I'm going to try to work on it like this. You know, it's a little bit tedious task being up on the bench like this, but here's our stem and our clip from the old one. Looks like it just popped right out of the button. The first thing I want to do is just make sure that this switch stem is going to sit all the way in. Ledge on here to keep it from spinning all the way around. So that's a difference that we may need to overcome for now. So I could not get the other one to work at all because the stem was too short. So let's try this other one out. I think we'll be able to get a circlip in on that. And it actually fits and all that stuff. So there's some really old caked up grease on this. Common problem, that grease gets kind of stiff and just covers up the pad completely. So we're going to scratch it off, get a little alcohol on a Q-tip, clean that pad up. I'm just going to gently clean up these pads as well. Should last another 30 years. Okay, so now I'm going to test my luck for real. We have to try to land this thing down in there and pipe it onto the stem. I got some needle nose pliers. I got a little flathead screwdriver. We got to apply some pressure to the back of this thing. Almost impossible. Woo, my finger's worn out. Oh, you stupid magnetic tip. No. Ayo. We're rolling, baby. There we go. just gonna send it. So crusty. It's probably in the carburetor. Curious to see what that thing looks like. Okay. Beautiful kill switch. Beautiful. YouTube informed me that my long-form content over 20 minutes is no longer purposeful for my channel, and that I should try to make shorter videos because people's attention spans usually last between 3 to 7 minutes. I have spent hours making long-form content, and because I do this for a living, I want you guys to hang around. So we'll cut this one here. I'll see you guys next week. CB125S. Let's see if it'll run. See you then.